In less than a month, PS5 owners are going to be experiencing the PS5 re-release of FF7R, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. While the marketing for the game hasn't been as big as the original with multiple trailers and TV spots and a playable demo, we've still had a good bit to go over, whether they be interviews or trailers. And in Square's recent The First Soldier livestream to show off said game, which went about as well as you'd expect, Tetsuya Nomura revealed the final trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which revealed quite a bit of new stuff, specifically surrounding episode Intermission, the new episode featuring Yuffie. So, for today's video, I'd like to take a look at this trailer, analyze, discuss, and go over my thoughts on the trailer as a whole, my thoughts on how Intermission and Intergrade both look. Before I start though, be warned that this trailer has some massive spoilers ahead for the Yuffie episode because Square can't make one final trailer without spoiling the whole damn thing. And when I mean massive spoilers, I really mean it, so turn away now if you don't want to learn anything from the episode Intermission. With that said, there's your warning, and let's go. The first roughly minute or so from this trailer really doesn't have too much to go over, aside from one big thing. Really, it's just showing the original FF7 remake, but now in 60 FPS, this being one of the bigger things I'm really excited for in Intergrade. Like the fight with the Whispers in Chapter 18, the fight between Rude and Reno in Sector 7, Aerith and Tifa fighting Swordipede, so on and so forth. This also shows off some of the new lighting remake as Sporting, which really does wonders. I always felt the lighting in the original remake was pretty good, but even the tiniest little updates make a pretty big difference in my opinion. Though I will admit, I would like to see more of the texture and skybox improvements. That's easily one of the biggest things for me with Intergrade, and I would like to see how different they look in a bit more detail. With this being the final trailer, however, I don't think we're really getting that. However, there is one thing to know, which is that we get a small look at the VR battle with Weiss. In case you missed the last trailer, Weiss from Dirge of Cerberus is being added into F7R. However, it wasn't very clear if he had an impact on the story or was just a VR fight or even both. However, it seems like to me that he's just a VR fight, with him fighting Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith in the VR room. Oh, thank God, there might not be any cringy Dirge of Cerberus stuff being added into Remake's narrative. Oh, thank God. Why are you looking at me like that? Either way, there's really not much to go over in this fight either. He does an attack to the party that sends him flying in the air and deals a lot of damage. I'm just praying that he's stuck in the VR room. The rest of this portion shows the events prior to the Sephiroth fight in Chapter 18, though unlike say Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, Intergrade doesn't seem to be touching up the CG in Remake at all, where Remind made KH3's CG look a lot better in my opinion. Just something I thought I should mention. However, after that, the rest of the trailer focuses on episode Intermission. We start this off with Yuffie and the new character Sonon fighting deep ground soldiers. Though, goddamn, they both look great. I'm still stunned by how good the characters look across the board in Remake. Yuffie tells, quote, bad news to Sonon, telling him that Shinra is going to drop the plate on Sector 7. So now we know where this episode takes place, specifically during this moment in particular. The episode takes place basically when Cloud is running around Sector 5 on Wall Market with Aerith, and prior to the plate itself falling on Sector 7. Next up, we have Yuffie giving Wutai's apparently famous chow beans to some of the members of her Avalanche group. Oh yeah, I should probably go over this for a minute. A little while ago, Famitsu released new info in Intermission with names and the backgrounds of certain characters. I'm going to go over these real quick so we have a way to refer to these characters by name. Also, the translations of these once again come from Audrey on Twitter, so go give her a follow. First of all, this blonde character here from the trailer is named, and I apologize heavily if I mispronounced this, Ziggy. To quote, a Wutaian who lives in Midgar. He acts as the liaison between the Wutai government and main Avalanche branch. With his street smarts and fast moves, he's been able to survive by sliding out of trouble. He shows Yuffie around the Sector 7 slums. The next character is named Nayo, and her profile is, quote, a member of the main Avalanche branch. She was born in the slums. Hidden within the Sector 5 slums, she oversees the actions of the branch. She receives the request from the Wutai government for assistance and helps them devise a strategy. She prepares a fake ID that Yuffie and the others need to access the upper plate. Next up, this character is named fucking Billy Bob. To quote, a member of the main Avalanche branch. He was born in the slums. Although he's extremely experienced compared to the other members who are hidden away at the Sector 7 slums, he doesn't put his experience to work and instead has a very laid-back personality. He is very good with alcohol and can drink as much as he wants without getting drunk. He apparently collects his intel from people at bars. This final character is named Polk. To quote, a member of the main Avalanche branch. He was born in the slums. He's the youngest member of the Sector 7 Avalanche branch in hiding. Everyone treats him like a younger brother, and even though they make fun of him, he's adored by them. In regards to devising strategies, he's super into the popular strategy game called Fort Condor. We'll be talking about this in a minute though. Either way, those are those characters' names and backgrounds, though it is hard to get a general grasp on how I feel about them given that we still don't see much of them. Anyway, let's get back to the trailer. After Yuffie hands them their famous chow beans, she talks to Polk and he says that she looks like she's about to die of boredom, and asks if she would like to play Fort Condor. And as it zooms in, we actually get a confirmation of a Fort Condor minigame in Intermission. This is really cool in my opinion. When I saw this, I got a pretty huge smile on my face, and it visually looks really good. I'm shocked they actually somehow made Fort Condor actually look like fun, as, fun fact, I'm not really the biggest fan of the original minigame. Genuinely though, I think this looks downright perfect. Next up, we have Scarlet. She confronts both Yuffie and Sonon with a flashback to a previous scene. If I had to assume, this is probably stuff during the Wutai War, which I think is really cool. If we're actually going to see some stuff of the Wutai War, I'm all for it. If memory serves me right, we really didn't see much of the Wutai War stuff in the original or any of the compilation content much at all, so I'm all for this. In this cutscene, we see a much younger Yuffie getting hit by rockets from a Shinra machine, with Sonon rushing in to protect her. Sonon says that was Scarlet, director of advanced weaponry, and that it was one of her machines that killed Melfi. I did some research to confirm, and unless I'm hearing it wrong, Melfi is a new character. If I had to assume, it might have been a relative or family of Sonon's, or even just a close friend of theirs from Wutai. If I had to assume, they probably died in that cutscene where Sonon's protecting Yuffie. Scarlet then shows Yuffie and Sonon the quote, latest innovation of Shinra battle armor, which is a red robot that she pilots herself. We see them fighting it, with the robot blasting multiple beams at the two of them in a cutscene before we get to gameplay. We see in Yuffie's hotbar a move called Ninja Cannonball, though we sadly don't get to actually see it. Then we get them using one of their team-up moves against the robot, and it looks awesome. Now, back a little while ago, Nomura had stated that there would be a new summon exclusively to Intermission, and we finally get that here. That summon is none other than Ramuh. Personally, I don't think it beats out the Final Fantasy XV Ramuh visually, but hot damn if it doesn't look awesome nonetheless, and the actual attack that he does looks amazing. I personally feel the remake does a pretty phenomenal job with the summons across the board, and Ramuh is no exception. And then we see... Is that who I think it is? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Yes, I had a sigh of relief seeing that Weiss is most likely just a VR battle, but then we get this. Nero, another antagonist and easily one of the biggest from Dirge of Cerberus. We see him fighting Sonon and Yuffie. I would assume this isn't too long after their battle with the Deep Ground soldiers and him attacking some Shinra scientists in a cutscene during the battle. I don't believe I recognize this area from the remake, so it's actually possible this is a whole new area specifically for Nero. I could be wrong about this though, so let me know down below if I am. I'll at least say that I think Nero looks pretty great visually in all honesty. I always was actually a big fan of his design if I'm being honest, and I think the visuals during his fight are genuinely pretty cool. However, we see Yuffie and Sonon attacking him in a team-up move in a much more cinematic way, like a limit break. If we slow this down, we see both Sonon and Yuffie have their limit breaks ready, then when the move activates, both of the limit break bars deplete. Seemingly, if you have both of their limit break bars filled up, you can perform a sort of team-up limit break, which I think is honestly really cool. Though it is currently a bit unclear if you have this from the start or have to earn it or whatnot. Either way, I think it looks awesome and is a really cool mechanic. Finally, to end off the trailer, we have a good bit to unpack. First of all, yes, that is the first bit of blood in the whole of Remake so far. I don't remember if I had mentioned this or not, but Remake's rating was actually updated to include blood, which the original didn't have. Seemingly, this is where some, if not all of it is going. But let's look at the scene as a whole. Yuffie sits on her knees, teary-eyed, while looking at, seemingly, the destruction of the Sector 7 plate while saying, quote, "This is just wrong." We cut to a close-up of her eye as a tear drops, and a shot of her screaming, ending off the trailer. If I had to assume what this is most likely Yuffie seeing the death of most of the people from her group, possibly even Sonon. He's not here in the scene, and I've been speculating that he'll probably die by the end of this DLC. But that ends the trailer. There's been some people theorizing that apparently you might be able to see Vincent in her eye. I think that it is possible that the Whispers will show her a vision or something, this taking place before the death of the Whispers, but I think that's just some rubble, not actually Vincent. In all honesty, excluding the Nero thing, I think episode Intermission looks really good so far. I'm really liking Yuffie a lot at the moment, both in her design and her characterization, and the rest of the content looks really good too. The 4 Condor minigame is just really cool in my opinion, and is easily one of my favorite things they added. I'm in love with how this looks, and I'm really excited to play it. And again, if you own the game originally, as long as it is in the PS Plus version, you get the upgrade to Intergrade for free, with the Yuffie episode being a separate purchase for $20 US. Though, to be completely transparent, I don't think this is a very good trailer in one regard. Way too much stuff is being shown. The original Remake final trailer had way too much too, like the reveal of Zack, which was a huge bummer for me. I really don't know why they threw in all this stuff, especially Nero. That to me should have been a big reveal for the game, not a trailer. Even the trailer feels like it kind of downplays it a bit, to be honest. Either way, we have about a month to go at this point, and I'm still really excited. Though I will say, I was really hoping to see some more of the technical aspects of the original remake. Seeing it in 60 FPS is nice, but I would like to see more of the things like the skyboxes and texture improvements. Either way, I'm still excited to play this. So, with that said, that's everything. What are you most excited for in Intergrade? Whether it's the original remake or Intermission, let me know down below. Thank you all very much for watching, have a great night, stay safe, signing off. Peace out.